Hi everybody, it's Stephanie. Welcome to my channel. Today's cake is inspired by a game called Lemon Cake. In this game, you are growing ingredients in your greenhouse, and then you take those ingredients into your kitchen and you bake up something delicious like a cake or a pastry, and then you take the pastries and you serve them to your customers. And all at the same time, you're also trying to restore your bakery. It is just such a cute and cozy game, and I have really connected with it. And in fact, I've already played it for 20 hours. And I thought it'd be fun to take some of those cakes and pastries and make it into an actual real cake. All right, let's get started. Today I'm making a cute Topsy Turvy cake that I've decorated with delicious fruit, mini donuts, and cookies. I have done a great deal of scratch baking to make this Topsy Turvy cake. I have some lemon cakes, lemon blueberry cakes, and these round cakes are chocolate chip and they are in the process of thawing out still. I want to expand my recipe collection, so these are all new cake recipes that I'm trying out. I also have some tried and true buttercream right here and a batch of sweet yet tart lemon curd filling. A great way to flavor buttercream is with lemon curd, so just pour some lemon curd into the buttercream until you like the taste. But not too much though, because we need to save some to fill the cake. If you would like to see what recipes I am using today, I will list those out for you in the description box. Also, I will try to think of every tool and supply that I have used in this video, and I will put a link to it down in the description, so go check that out if you need to. Now it's time to fill the cakes. I'm starting with the lemon cake, which I have 4 layers of, and I'm filling them with a layer of lemon buttercream, a layer of lemon curd, and then another layer of lemon buttercream. Cover it in plastic wrap and pop it into the refrigerator to chill before you go any further. This will harden the buttercream and keep the lemon curd from spilling out the sides. To start, I need a square cake cardboard to put my cake on. For this cake, I'm using lemon blueberry flavored cake, but I didn't have enough of it, so I used 2 layers of lemon cake right in the middle. I think it will still taste really good, and I can get the height that I'm looking for. These are also getting filled with the same lemon buttercream from earlier. For my last cake, I want chocolate buttercream to go with the chocolate chip cake. So this is melted semi-sweet chocolate that I'm mixing into my buttercream. Truth be told, I didn't think I would even like chocolate chip cake, but oh my goodness, this cake was so good, and I loved the crunch from the mini chocolate chips on the inside. The chocolate buttercream filling was the perfect complement to the cake flavor, and it wasn't overly chocolatey. All my cakes are filled now, so let's go back to my first 2 cakes and give those both a thin outer coat in buttercream frosting. They will then need chilled, and then I go back at it with another coat of buttercream to perfect them. And then they can go back in the refrigerator once again. My chocolate chip cake needs to look like the chocolate chip croissant, so let's carve it. The best way to get the right shape is to use a template. I'm using a printout of the croissant from the game. Just place it on top of the cake and cut the cake just a little bit at a time. One more thing I wanted to tell you about this is that I like carving cakes when they're cold. I just find it to be so much easier because the butter in the cake and the buttercream is going to solidify and just makes it so much easier to get the knife through. Plus, we're also dealing with those chocolate chips, so I think it's just going to be better if you chill the cake and then cut it. I'm pretty good on the shape now, so I'm giving this one a thin outer coat of buttercream, and then it goes back into the refrigerator to chill with the other cakes. Let's start the decorating. I'm feeling a little rusty when it comes to covering a regular round cake in fondant. It's been so long since I've done this, but I'm giving it a go anyways. I'm decorating this cake to look like the lemon cake on the cover of the game. It's yellow fondant on the outside with a darker yellow looking drip on the top and a strip of dark yellow along the middle. In the game, you get the lemon cake recipe at the very end of the game, and I hadn't gotten it yet, so I wasn't sure what it looked like when I first started. It's actually different in the game than what's on the cover, but they are both cute. My next cake is an imitation of the blueberry crumble from the game, which has giant blueberries coming out of the middle. To make this, I first need to mark where the blueberries should go. And then I'm using cake pop filling for the giant blueberries. Using 2 different size ice cream scoops, I scooped out the cake pop filling and stuck them to the sides of the cake, and I covered them in a thin layer of buttercream, and the entire cake got covered in fondant. This is the part I didn't want to tell you about, but I have to because I don't want you to make the same mistake as me. So what happened was the blueberries from the cake recipe and the cake pop filling, they were both touching the fondant underneath, and that made the fondant start melting for some reason. And so what I had to do was take off all the fondant, and I took off the cake pop filling and I replaced it with Rice Krispie treats, and I recovered the entire thing in modeling chocolate. So it did work out in the end, and it was still beautiful, but I did have a huge mistake in the middle of it.
The croissant cake is up next. I made a board to go under my cake. Here it is. And I'm getting some buttercream on the board so it will stick, and then I move the cake on top of it. I'm covering this one in a lighter shade of brown fondant. I put this cake up on a bowl so I could tuck the fondant underneath the board. Now that it's covered, I'm decorating it with some light brown strips and some drizzly looking pieces of chocolate fondant. And I don't want to forget the fondant chocolate chips. To create this unique topsy-turvy look, we need styrofoam spacers. Also, I'm really excited about my new tool that I want to show you all. It warms up immediately and slices right through the styrofoam so easily, like butter. I was having so much fun with this tool. I'm cutting 2 styrofoam circles at an angle. They look kind of like cheese wedges now. Styrofoam is not food safe that I know of, so I'm covering the bottom with cardboard cake circles, and I'm also covering the sides in black modeling chocolate. Let's get this cake assembled. This is my board. It's a sturdy cake drum that I decorated with fondant to resemble a wood grain texture and a doily. On the bottom, I glued more cardboard so I can get my hands underneath it easier.
We have a couple choices when it comes to sticking cakes to the board. You can either use melted candy melts or you could use royal icing. I decided to go with royal icing for this one because it dries slower and gives me a little bit more time to figure out where I want to put things.
First, you want to move the lemon cake over onto the board and then add 5 or 6 milkshake straws for dowels right in the center of the cake. And these were cut to fit so they are flush with the top of the cake. I'm securing my first spacer on top of the lemon cake with royal icing, and I'm adding a bit more icing on top of the spacer, and now I can place the blueberry cake right on top of it. To keep this cake in place, I'm pushing a sharpened dowel down into the cake, and I use another dowel to help push it all the way down into the cake drum. My dowels were pretty thin, so I'm adding another one just to be safe. Next, I need to add 4 more milkshake straws into the blueberry cake to support the croissant. And then I attach the other spacer with more royal icing. Finally, I can place my croissant on top of the last spacer. Normally, I would add another dowel to hold the croissant into place, but it was just sitting perfectly fine without it, so I didn't want to add it. I was trying to figure out how to conceal the spacers. Well, fruit is always a great addition to any cake and it matches the game, so I'm adding strawberries, blueberries, and candied lemons. I also added more sweet treats like some mini pink donuts and some homemade chocolate chip cookies. My real-life lemon cake is complete. This is such a cute design. I am really happy with how this cake turned out, and I'm so glad I challenged myself with something a little different.
If you like this style of cake, I also made a Halloween topsy-turvy cake last year, so go check that one out as well, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye everybody.